Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited about our first on-site interview, Mr. Elijah Long here, Solutions for Men podcast, baby. Let's do it. First, let me get changed though. Welcome to SOULutions, where men come out of the shadows to testify, giving tips in manhood, honor the codes of integrity, and give out real solutions for soul survival. Today, we have on the show a driven man, a man of vision and entrepreneurship, a man who shows love to his friends and strangers alike. He's gifted with the power of bringing out the butterflies, the purposeful beauty inside of you. He's like a Picasso painter. Thank you for him, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the actor, the director, the executive, the producer, the writer, musician, fellow podcaster, veteran, and Emmy nominee, Mr. Elijah Long.
How are you? What's up, man? That was a hell of an intro, bro.
Hey, man, listen, I aim to please. This is our first live on location. This is history being made today.
It is, man. It's a blessing, man. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Are you ready to drop these gems and answer these questions today?
Bro, man, that's what we're here for. Let's get into it.
Here we go.
Into it.
What person did you meet or see that gave you the drive towards the man you are today? Who or what defined you?
Well, I won't say anyone defined me, but I want to say an individual that I met. That's more than just met, is my father. My father is an incredible individual. I'm actually going to Chicago in July because he's getting a building and a street named after him. So that kind of lets you know the level that my father is on. So I definitely have some big shoes to fill. But my father is the one who basically gave me the motivation to be more than just average. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm here today.
It's amazing what we call average through our perspectives and what we look at. If you can give me one gem that your dad gave you that's true to life, besides his actions, something he taught you that you stuck with today.
I mean, it's the hard work, you know, it's the dedication. I mean, from him, you know, for me seeing him, how he moved, his coaching the football team, working for 40 years at Ford Motor Company, like it was his consistent actions. And so I just had to follow the actions of consistency. What a lot of people, like, they don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan. And then once you have a plan, you have to be consistent with that. So it's not the big jump, the big leap that you do, it's the little steps that you do every day that get you to the goal. So it's not like, I mean, like you guys are in my living room in the SLS, like, you know, in the penthouse, but guess what? I didn't start here. You know, there's been lonely nights in New York, you know, homeless in Port Authority train station, you know, small apartments in New York, then coming to LA, living in a studio apartment as big as this living room with me and my brother, you know, but we got to this point, you know, so it was those little steps that got us here.
I think it's the consistency, what you spoke about. When you're creative, you always have to create. You rarely duplicate until you figure it out. Say, maybe if I take a little bit of what's already made and start putting my salt on it, is where things start to go like a train. It just start to move properly on track.
Absolutely.
Do you have a vision board?
I do have a vision board. It's digital, but I do have a vision board. And tapping into what you just said with, you know, taking a little bit from somebody else and, you know, adding your own sprinkle to it. I read a book called Steal Like an Artist. And it's a little coffee table book. If you get a chance to pick it up, man, it's amazing. But basically what it does is find out who you admire, whoever you admire, and find out who they admire and study them. You know what I mean? So you will see with a lineage of a lot of music, a lot of movies, a lot of our art, everything, where it derived from following people who they admire. You know what I mean? So of course, nothing is original. Only thing that's original is life. Something different happens in life every day. But what we do, none of this is original. We just take our own little spin and put on it, right? So it's just like, as long as we do that and then add our creativity to it, man, you create something special.
No fingerprint is the same. Nothing new under the sun.
Facts.
The book is called Still Like an Artist.
Still Like an
and
Artist.
The amazing thing about the repertoire and everything that you put into your work, people see it. But the point of this show today is for someone to resonate with you or learn something from you.
Facts.
So someone lived the same lifestyle you're living, or either they're on their way on the journey or they're right there. So the like-mindedness of validation is what we hope for today. And within your vision board, if you can give me one apex goal you achieved and one you're currently chasing.
You know what? Being in Dubai, it used to be my screensaver. So it was on my vision board. And now when I look out my window or I wake up in the morning, my view is the Burj Khalifa. So being here in Dubai is vision board worthy. That's something that I achieved that, I never thought in my wildest dreams, but I'm here.
Absolutely. Before I sidetrack and ask you an audible question, because we love to have audible questions, tell me which one you're currently chasing as an apex goal.
Man, when Rambo released in September of 2019.
Absolutely.
And we showcased at number 2 in the box office. And then we tapped out at 95 million in the box office. And to be the first Black producer to ever be on the franchise of Rambo since it started, for one, that was an accomplishment within itself. But then at that point, it was just like, Obama, after the presidency, Michelle looking at him like, all right, what you gonna do next? I said to myself, like, all right, you did that. Like, you didn't expect to do that. Well, what you gonna do next? So my next goal is to be the number 1 producer in Hollywood. And so in surpassing Hollywood, I want to be the number 1 producer like in the world. When people think about movies, television, or anything visual, like, I want my name to come up in that conversation. And so that's why I'm bringing one of my films that I was supposed to shoot in a completely different part of the world. We're now shooting it in the UAE. And so I'm thankful that I was able to make that transition with a whole production and move that production here. So I'm on the start of that path to be the number 1 producer in the world.
This is universal talk.
Yeah. I
believe what you're speaking right now will come into existence. So I'm going to be there to ask you when you become the number 1 producer in the world. So what you going to do now? But tell me, what type of affirmations are you telling yourself every day? You put the picture on your phone of the Burj Khalifa. Yes, we have manifested that. Right. But what kind of daily affirmations, for those who are listening right now, what kind of gems can you drop with some affirmations that can really get them going?
Well, everyone's going to have their own affirmations, their own mantras. I'm a big fan of meditation, man. Meditation, like a lot of times, people, it's so noisy. It's so noisy. And what COVID did, it quieted everything down. And so if you didn't discover your hustle during COVID, you have a problem. Because what does a lot of people say? I don't have the time. It's too much going on.
Right.
They shut the world off, So take that into your daily life and give yourself a moment of quiet so you can hear your own thoughts, so you can allow your creativity to grow and manifest. So I would say take that time alone, whether it's meditation or whether it's prayer for some people, or whatever it may be, your long time in the shower, whatever time you have, give yourself at least a good 5 minutes by yourself uninterrupted. I think that's golden. As well as writing down what you want to see. That's one of the things I always tell my wife. There's one of the things that I always tell anybody. There's something about not having it in your phone, because your phone is full of distractions.
Right.
You know what I mean? Your phone is, that's the Instagram, that's the Facebook, that's the text message, that's the WhatsApp, that's the calling, that's the mom hitting you up, that's everything. But when you're writing it down, it's just you and that paper. And there's something about when you reread what you write down, it's just like, ooh, that's what I was thinking in 2018, or ooh, that's what I was thinking back in 5 years ago. And then you see where you are now, and then you see what you actually manifested from it being written down. Because not get into religious, but it even says in the Bible, in some parts of the Quran, it says, write the vision down and make it plain. And so when you make it plain to yourself, you're also holding yourself accountable for those words you wrote down. So if you're doing the complete opposite of what you write down and you seeing it every day, it's like, I got to get on my game. You know what I mean? And I'll tap into something else. A lot of people will notice this about me. And I'll give you a little gem about me. When I'm in the best shape, physical shape, I'm the most focused.
Absolutely. Listen, all my fans who watch the show, you guys know I struggle because I love food. Right? There's so many things you said that grew me just now. You talked about writing things down, making your vision plain, but the pedanticness, the details of saying this was 2016. I am floored by that, because you're telling me no matter what I go through in life, everything is a privilege. Because everything is according to the road of success that you just wrote down. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I love this part of the show. This is called a audible.
Talk to me.
Now, this is curtailed towards you. You let me know. Chi-Town.
Okay.
Growing up in the Chi.
Born and raised.
Dubai.
Yes.
The Bronx, New York.
Okay.
Dubai.
Yeah.
Do you ever get survivor's remorse?
No.
Talk to me.
No, because I have the same 24 hours a day that you have. You got the same 24 hours a day that he has. So what I do in my 24 hours takes me to where I am now. So a lot of times when I go back home and I may see some of the same people around, I'll say, what's up? It's all love, but we not breaking bread together. We not, partying together. Like, it's not the same conversation. You understand what I'm saying? Imagine having a conversation with a 5-year-old versus somebody that's 55. That's a completely different conversation.
In some cases.
In some cases, but as far as, quotes that I live by, I forget who actually said this quote, but it says, show me your friends and I'll show you you. Yeah. If you got 4 broke friends, you're going to be the 5th one. Because that's the conversations that they have. And so I like to surround myself with people that are better than me. Like, anybody you see on a set that's next to me, they're better than me. I promise you they're better than me. Why? Because I don't know everything.
Right.
So I got people around me that know more than me. So it's just like, hey, what you think? Hey, what you think? All right, cool. We're going to do this, but it's a collective decision, but I have to lead that charge, So that's one of the things I really learned about moving forward and being a leader.
So much information you just gave out. You dropped gems about writing things down, making your vision plain. We talked about being the challenge you want to see within 24 hours.
Yeah.
Quick question for you is, how much of your 24 hours do you take out for yourself for self-love and building? If someone needed to know that, because some people don't even know how to pray. They don't even know where to start. And universal love, universal law of prayer, whatever religion you may follow, whatever higher being, but where do you start? How many hours when you're trying to reach goals that you're trying to set, where you're becoming number one, apex predator, apex king? How much hours in the day do you actually take out for yourself, where it's like meditation that you said but other than that, the other self-love attributes that you place?
Well, the other self-love, I mean, if it's moving towards my goal, I mean, self-love is every moment, what I mean? Self-love is daily. But if we're talking about, anything career-wise, like I find gratification in knowledge. I reached a certain point in my life to where watching frivolous things on TV didn't gratify me as much as it used to. I used to just veg out on the couch and just watch TV all day. It's like, nah, I gotta watch something that's feeding me. Either visually, it's like, oh, I want to look at that shot. You know what I mean? Oh, how did Scorsese do that? I wanted to, those are the things that I do. And I'm a big fan. With me and my wife, we watch a lot of documentaries. You know what I mean? Documentaries is an interesting way to learn at the same time you're being entertained. So that takes my mind when I'm either writing a script or creating the next feature film. Like, it's like, oh, I remember this fact or this detail or whatever that may be with knowledge. Books are a big thing for me. Like 48 Laws of Power.
See, I was going to ask you that question next, but the reason I sat up is because I love the fact that I'm looking at a man with purpose, and he knows what his purpose is. And I've always tell people, A man should find his purpose before he finds anything else.
Facts.
Because that will eliminate all the debris. It gives you tunnel vision. It gives you focus.
100%.
Like, I don't have time to watch this because this is not in my purpose.
Yeah.
You're watching documentaries that will grow you with shots and all the things that you do in your life. And I was going to ask you, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Besides still like an artist,
Yeah.
what was the books you think saved your life?
So the number one book that saved my life, I can literally say saved my life, was Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. Please elaborate. Give us a small synopsis of the book.
I just want to say this to Ryan Holiday. I have referred this book to so many people. Okay, I'm going to need 10%, Ryan. All right?
And we need 2% because he said it on the show.
But no, I mean, books are meant to feed into other people's lives. And we sometimes as Black people, they always say, if you want to hide something from Black people, put it in a book.
Right.
And so my main thing is promoting and pushing that. I don't care if it's the audio version of the book. I don't care what it is. On a long drive, you're on the airplane, listen to the book, read the book, whatever you want to do. But people don't realize how much their own ego gets in the way. Ego has ruined deals for me. Ego has ruined relationships for me. But I'm so glad that was happening at a lower level, because when you ruin relationships on the level that I'm on now, and I'm still growing, it's unforgiving. You know, those are bridges burned that you can't repair back again, you know? So you never want to leave a bad taste in somebody's mouth because you walking with your chest out. When you're around certain people, it's not lowering yourself, but it's humbling yourself enough to where you can get knowledge and understanding from that person. Because I'll give an example. I worked on a set of a film called All-Star Weekend. All right. I produced this movie with Jamie Foxx. It was Jamie Foxx's directorial debut. Every A-list star you can think of was on this film. He's from Eva Longoria to Gerard Butler, Robert Downey Jr., of course, Jamie Foxx, Jeremy Piven, DJ Khaled, French Montana. I can keep going on and on and on and on. I'm saying all of these names to say I'm surrounded by people I'm a fan of. You know, I'm a fan of everybody. This is 3 years ago. So this was, you know, Khaled in his prime, and, you know, everybody's bubbling. I'm sitting there a fan, but at the same time, I gotta work with these people. They're respecting what I'm writing down on the paper to come out of their mouths, you know? Right. So with that being said, I have to come to them in a way that they respect me on a colleague level, but I'm still humble enough, letting them know I respect the platform that you put yourself on for me even to want you in this film. You know what I mean? I know who you are, Gerard Butler. I know who you are, Jamie Foxx, but it's humbling yourself enough to respect their accomplishments as well, to where two people that are alphas can coexist. Right. You know, being able to maneuver, that's the key. You know, I'll take a line from Jay-Z. I'll show you how to move in a room full of vultures. The industry's shady. It need to be taken over. But a lot of people don't get in those rooms because they don't know how to move. Right. When you learn how to move, there's certain things you can't say at a business meeting. There's certain things you can't do. You know, I may drink and do every drug under the sun. I don't, but I'm just saying, I may do that, but that'll be on my personal time. I'm not going to do that with somebody I'm doing business with, because they don't need to see that side of me. Absolutely. You understand what I'm saying? It's Absolutely. Like, it's literally a time and a place for everything. And so I try to live by how to move in certain situations, and that allows people to show you nothing but respect. You know, when you come into any situation, you got to be a chameleon to be able to fit in those situations. And if you're always overshadowing the person that's supposed to be the star because of your ego, you're going to kill a lot of dreams that you have for yourself.
Another audible question, since you said those things, I'm really listening with intent. I once seen a video of Jada Pinkett Smith's brother saying he wanted to work with Will Smith. Will Smith looked at him and said, "You're too fat. You can only work with me after you have a six-pack." You talked about being more focused when you're in shape. For me, being a hypocrite right now, because I'm not in the best shape of my life, but I will say, how much is it in the arena that you work in that someone shows up showing that they actually take care of their body as a form of discipline to work with them? Does that really count as much?
Yes and no, because being in shape for me may not be the same in shape for you.
Right.
You know, so I don't judge the physical.
Not from that standpoint.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about like the work ethic standpoint. Like you
Right.
can see the discipline. Oh, this person really is
Right,
active
right.
in this lifestyle to fit this role, to
Right.
fit this position. Yeah.
Right. And where I was going with that was this. The reason why I say if I'm in the best physical shape, I'm the best mental as well. Because to pass up those cookies, to pass up that cheeseburger, because guess what? It's a lot more difficult to get to something healthy than it is to get to something unhealthy. I can just grab a cheeseburger. Yeah. You know what I mean? I gotta find a nice quinoa salad with some kale and some salmon on the top. You know, I gotta find that, man. Absolutely. You know, and you can't just get that from anywhere. Right. So with that being said, I know the discipline that it takes to actually be in a certain kind of shape, to where if you're that disciplined to focus on your body, which is the first thing people see, I know you're gonna be focused when it comes to this work. Yeah. You know, this is the same way when somebody walks in with how they dress. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, if they took time to worry about their appearance, the first thing that the world sees, they're gonna be worried about everything. And I'm gonna give you one more gem. A lot of people talk about celebrities asking for crazy things on their writers. What a writer is when a celebrity comes to wherever he's gonna perform or whatever, he has a list of things that he needs. You know what I mean? I need this kind of underwear, I need this in my dressing room, whatever. J-Lo was asked one time, why do you tell people I want a whole bowl of M&Ms?
All green.
All green.
All green.
Right? Yes. All green M&Ms.
Yes, I've seen this.
But let me tell you this though. She said, if they pay attention to that one detail, I know my lights aren't going to fall off when I perform. I know the mic is going to be right. I know this is going to be correct, because that's one minute crazy detail. Somebody's like, forget that. You know what I mean? Now I got to watch your whole setup. You didn't even pay attention to my writer. I'm Jennifer Lopez. You understand? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, those details that are paid attention to, that speaks volumes on how people look at you and portray you and want to give you a job. You know?
You know, you were right about that. I think you could do a whole show on people's writers. The people that have been around, their writers.
I have some crazy writers.
Yeah, listen, I done seen a lot.
Offset, you got a crazy writer, bro. A crazy writer, bro. I did a music video with Offset and KSI. Offset, your writer's crazy, bro.
Hey, listen, it's amazing to watch. Yeah,
that's my boy.
Those writers. So here we are, to the picture of Dubai on your phone.
Yeah,
you manifested your goals. Your dad put the engine in your back to show you his actions, what hard work look like. Still like an artist. We got the book rolling. We got everything flowing. We are here at SLS. All of that. Tell me, what did you sacrifice?
Man, I sacrificed going out. I sacrificed boyfriend-girlfriend relationships. I sacrificed time at home with my family. And most importantly, I sacrificed time away from my daughter. Because if any time that you spend it away from your kids, it better be worth it, you know, because every moment they remember, you know, whether you're there or whether you're not there. So my main thing that, you know, my father taught me was, you know, I gave you a good life. The next generation better have a better life than you got, you know, so on and so forth. But I also am a huge fan of teaching that next generation how to appreciate, you know, what you didn't have to, what they don't have to go through, what you had to go through. So, you know, it comes full circle, but that's what I would say.
Let's talk about what intent looks like as a father. When we step out as men and we have a purpose and we go out and we say, hey, I'm doing this for the family. That's what our intent is. But what it looks like to the children and the people around us is gone.
It looks like neglect.
Do you have any gems or remedies of how we balance that? I often get men on the show who deal with this purpose. They deal with success and intently we're fighting for, hey, I'm doing this for us, but people don't see that. They don't understand that complexity of the hammer hitting the nail. Do you have any gems for anyone right now that might be listening saying, how do I balance this?
I mean, you balance it with communication. A lot of people fail with kids because they think they can't comprehend. They think they talk to him like a baby. I talk to my daughter like a grown adult. What's on your mind? What happened? You know what I mean? Daddy's over here. You see this building? That's where daddy lives, you know? And so I tell her exactly what it is. I FaceTime her. I talk to her. I wish I could talk to her even more, but being in Dubai, the time zones, you know, kind of prohibit that. But basically just the communication, you know, is what I like to focus on. In regards to, I kind of lost my train of thought, but in regards to, you know, when you're speaking to your child or to your spouse or to anybody that you aren't able to communicate with every day because you're trying to fulfill your dreams, they have to know why you're doing it. And legacy is so important to me. I have to create a legacy that, you know, my kids are not only going to eat off of, but going to be proud of, you know. So
I understand that wholeheartedly. I can see, I have a 4-year-old. I speak to him. It's hard for me to get out the house. He wants to do 5 different handshakes before I leave. But I understand it because I explained to him, just like you said, I've never Google Gagged him. I never gave him in. So his vocabulary is a little extensive. So he shocks me.
I love it.
He said one time to me, "This is ridiculous." I said, wait a minute, you're 3 years old.
You know?
You're 3 years old. I want to talk to you about something that most of us go through. I want to talk to you about your lowest moment, but I don't want to know your lowest moment. I want to know how you got out of it. This is for the people right now that might be sitting in the same place you were. How did you get out? What was your lowest moment?
Well, people will soon realize that you're gonna have a lot of lowest moments, you know? But if I'm speaking about the lowest moment that I can remember, and I want you to know this before I even tell it to you, my lowest moment, I stood on top of. And what I mean by stand on top of it, this is the absolute lowest I can go. You know what I mean? So all you do is this. And I'll tell you this scenario. It may sound a little dramatic, but it was sad and funny at the same time. It's funny now that I look back, sad at that moment. But I'm in New York, homeless in New York. At this particular time, I was at a 34th Street train station. And I had bought a slice of pizza. You know, everybody know about the big giant slice of pizza in New York.
Come on, man.
And so I literally had a slice of pizza like sitting next to me, and then I have my bag. You know, in New York, it's not like Dubai. You gotta cover your stuff. So I'm literally sitting here like this, and I fell asleep for a quick second. Believe it or not, man, I woke up with a giant New York rat eating my pizza, bro. But the normal thing didn't go in my head.
Can I pause you for
a
second? New York rats are this big. No exaggeration. New York rat. No exaggeration.
It's a New York rat.
So you want to see some rats, go to the west side of Manhattan, go to the Bronx. Sorry, Bronx, I love you.
You know, I will vouch for everything this man is saying right now. But I'm sitting here and this rat has started eating my pizza.
And looked at you like, yo, you gonna eat this?
And I shoo him off. Then I look at the pizza, but at the same time, that's my last $5. And I'm starving. I picked up that pizza. I ripped the half that he was eating off. I threw it to him and I ate the rest. And I literally said this to God. I said, this is the absolute lowest point. Anything after this, I can take anything after this. Everything else was a cakewalk, you know? And so when I say that I stood on that moment, meaning every time something is just horrible in my life, hey, it ain't as bad as that. You know, that's how I always think. So it's like, it propels me forward. You know what I mean? So it was like an elevator, you know, in a sense.
Everything you're saying to me just brings you back to what you made me think of. This is all a privilege. It's all a part of the journey.
Yeah.
I once heard Kobe Bryant say the destination is great.
Yeah.
But the road to it is more fun. Like you learn so much things about yourself.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Woo, let's shake off that. Thank you. Hey, that's really good that you got in that low moment. Look, New York rats is something different, okay?
Yeah, you make it in New York, you make it anywhere.
Let's lighten up the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's have a little fun here. Let's get this, you know, get this good energy back in here.
Talk to me.
What have you procrastinated on and why?
Everything. Everything. I got a friend, his name is Derek Hughes. He's an incredible writer. He's one of my closest friends in LA. And he always uses this term, procrastinating. Oh. So I'll text him, what you doing, bro? Procrastinating. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because that means you just sitting there at the page and you done type the ... Sat there for 2 hours, went through your emails, made some phone calls. But what it's doing is, because you're doing all of these little things, it's tricking your brain to thinking that you're progressing in what you actually set down for. But you haven't done shit. I'm sorry.
No, you good, man.
I don't know if I curse on
you. You can say whatever you want.
You haven't done shit, you know? Yeah. So you sitting there and by the end of the day, you're like, all right, I got a lot of nothing done. Damn. You know? And so you like, I'm gonna start tomorrow. So it's that little thing. And I'll give you another book that kind of helped me structure, because as artists, we're not 9-to-5ers. I don't wake up, punch a clock, go here, work this, do my lunch, come. We don't have a structure like that. So the structure has to be set up by us. What I find helpful is I try not to work at home, because if I work at home, I start laying back, I start watching my TV, I start talking to my wife, you know what I mean? You gotta separate yourself out of the house from your actual work.
Creative workspace,
man.
Absolutely. Even if it's a room that nobody's allowed to knock on.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's the bathroom, you know what I mean? That's your workspace. But there's a book that I want to give you. I have to remember the name right now. It is called Living Your Day-to-Day as an Artist. And basically it calls you on all of your bullshit. You know, and it's like all the stuff that you thought you were doing, it literally, because when you're reading a book, there's nobody there but you in the book, you know, so it calls you on all of your bullshit, but it also shows you how to set up your day as an artist. You know what I mean? An hour worth of learning, an hour worth of actually doing your craft, an hour worth for, you know, working out, because working out is actually a part of creativity. I don't know if you knew that, but it's connected, you know, it's super connected, you know, in the self-love, and, you know, and people don't know this either. Get foot massages regularly. As much as you can, get foot massages.
Speak on it, brother. We're in a place where massages happen often.
Massages happen often, you know? So with that being said, get foot massages on a regular. I'm gonna tell you why. When a woman is pregnant, they will not give a woman a foot massage after a certain months. I think it's after 7 months. Why? A woman can go into labor if certain nerves are hitting the foot. The foot is connected to every nerve in your body. So with that being said, headaches, you know, writer's block, different things like that. It can all be like massaged and get the blood flowing actually through the feet, you know? So that's a huge part of the regimen.
Here we are as men, some of us are too prideful to get petty manny.
Hey man, you better live your life. I don't want to take off my shoes and look like, you know, Shaq's feet.
Shout out to Shaq.
Shout out to Shaq, man. That's my guy.
I think a friend to the show, Bakari Sellers, once came on the show and said what he does, no matter if he's drunk, sober, tired, he sits down for 15 minutes to stare at whatever he wants to write. Even if he doesn't write nothing that day, he dedicates at least 15 minutes to sitting in a room and staring at the book until something comes out.
Until something comes out.
And we said procrastinating,
man.
I need.
You know,
Derek
Hughes coined that phrase.
Derek Hughes, shout out to you. We need a T-shirt. I want to wear it during the show. I think it's amazing.
Yeah,
I think it's very amazing. How important is it to leave where you're from to develop yourself to where you're going?
I'm gonna take another line from Jay-Z. I can't help the poor if I'm one of them. So I got rich and gave back to me. That's the win-win. You understand?
Yeah.
So to grow the world that you come from, sometimes you got to leave that world, because there's so much more, what's the word that I'm looking for? There's so much more inspiration outside of the place that you know. And I'll go back to working out. Once you work out and do the same exercises every day, your body get used to that. You know, that's easy now. You got to switch it up. Then it becomes hard. It's like, whew, okay. Now this is really working me out. When you step outside the arena, you go from like a Chicago to LA. Now you with the best of the best. You know what I mean? So now you working out a little bit different, you know? Because I started off, my career started off in music. I transitioned to the acting. But when I went out to acting auditions, I'm in auditions with people I already see on TV. you know, I'm in their category now. So it's just like, woo,
you're competitive.
You know, it's the competitiveness got to kick in. I mean, I was an athlete growing up. So with that being said, I was always competitive, but you got to step into the lane of I'm just as good as them. You know, they just had the opportunity or they just started earlier than I did. So stepping out of where you come from is so important, man. Traveling is so important, man. Do not spend your money on clubs and clothes and impressing people that don't care about you. You know what I mean? You sitting buying all these watches and jerseys for what, bro? Take a trip, you know? People don't know that it's not as expensive as you think it is to travel.
People are scared of flights. They're scared of the sitting still for so long, but sitting still is a part of growth.
Man, it's a part of growth.
Be still is very important. People don't understand the texture of be still.
Yeah.
And 100%. One of the biggest things that grew me is like, I went to South Carolina State University, but I didn't know about colleges when I was living in the Bronx. I was just rolling like everyday life like everyone else. There was no direction. And that's the point of a show like this, SOULutions, where you see people like yourself, they're giving direction. I believe you help someone. So man, maybe I shouldn't go to the club. Maybe I shouldn't spend $200 on that bottle. Maybe I could take a trip to Puerto Rico and see what's going on.
Take a trip, man, because I'm telling you, when your eyes see what you ever sit there in your screen, your Apple screen, go blank after sitting there for so long, and it starts showing you the landscapes of all of these different beautiful places, bro. Take yourself to that beautiful place. You know what I mean? Go to the Rainbow Mountains in Peru. Like, you don't even know, people don't even know what that is, you know?
For the men watching the show who need more than landscape, you have not met all the wonders of the world. What I mean is the variety of women that live in these different places. Go meet you a different woman.
Go find you a wife. I did.
There you go. He who findeth a wife
findeth a good thing and find favor.
Hey,
your boy know his word.
Absolutely. Now let's go back deep. Now you don't have to answer this question, but this question is very intrusive. But I added it to the dossier, if you want to call it. I added to it because it just came to me. I said I had to ask this question. What was abusive to you that you thought was love? How did you recognize it? When did you accept it?
So I'm gonna answer that in two parts. So
Absolutely.
The first part was, what was abusive to me?
That you thought was love.
That I thought was love.
How did you recognize it?
All right.
When did you accept it?
So I will say this, what was abusive to me that I had to find out later is when I had to accept the fact that people aren't going to do and treat things as I did, and I got upset because they didn't do things the way I did. And so when I showed love to people and, you know what I mean, liking all the posts and everything, just being a supportive person, then I do something and then you don't get it back and you like, damn, like, you know, it hurts you, you know, but I thought this was all love. I thought we was love. I thought if I did this for you, you would do this for me in return. Like I wouldn't even have to ask. But then I find yourself, bro, you ain't gonna, you know, can you repost? It's like, oh, okay. You know, so you start to see where you really fit in other people's lives, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes when you're a lighthouse, people only report to sail into you. They don't understand what it takes for you to put the light out. And they don't want to listen to you. You ever had a phone call for somebody? They tell you all their problems. You sit and you listen, but you're also having a bad day.
Right.
So you try to, hey man, you know, also, hey man, you know, I can't really talk about that right now. I'm gonna hit you back. Right. So now you still full.
Absolutely.
But they completely emptied their tank. You're a nuclear waste dump.
Absolutely.
I encourage everybody, if you're going to be a nuclear waste dump, make sure that person is willing to have some reciprocity.
Absolutely.
If that's the bond you've all built.
Absolutely.
Or there are people you just dump your waste on and keep moving forward, but I don't think that's the way anymore.
Yeah, it's not the way. It's not the way, man. It needs to be a two-way road, man, a two-way street, because it's like, you know, you that's why they always say now, you know, check on your strong friends because you don't know what they're dealing with. You know, one of the strongest men in my life, I won't mention his name, but one of the strongest men in my life, to where he always think he got it together. You know, he had told me, man, I was going through like some serious depression in my life. And I literally cussed him the hell out. Why? Because I said, bro, why you ain't call me? why you didn't tell me this? Why you know what I mean? So you start saying that stuff while that person's here, you know, but there's so many people that took their lives, you know, different things happen and you weren't able to say that to them. So I'm like, I always tell my friends like, bro, I don't care what I'm doing. You call me, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, because I know I need that sometimes, man. I tell my wife all the time, I'm like, yo, you may see a strong man when I'm saying, but like, yo, you gonna live with me now. You're gonna be here, my ups and downs when I'm trying to figure stuff out. You're gonna see my weak moments, you know? And I'm gonna need you to be there for me, not judge me by them, but be there for me, you know? Because I'm gonna come out of it. I always have, always will. But I'm gonna have those moments.
You actually come out of it when you walk through the door, because it's just a certain, like you said, you don't show up everywhere wearing the same aura. You have to present yourself.
Absolutely.
And one of my videographers, shout out to Mike and Tori, who helped me with this today. Me and Mike talked about growing up. The next door neighbor has no food. He'd rather steal than knock on your door and ask you for a piece of bread, saying I don't have it. We talked about it being pride. We talked about, I think that's the same thing where
pride and ego go hand in hand.
Right, pride and ego. And we talk about people who are used to taking on the nuclear waste, but they don't have a place to dump theirs. That's your pride. You got to find somebody. Either you go get professional help or you tell the people, I can't take your waste anymore. Your pride is like, I need to be this for this person because 100%. That's what they need
100%.
When you're a giver. But sometimes you have to be willing to exfoliate, get rid of it, get rid of all the nonsense. And I thank you for sharing that with us today.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Now I want to talk to you about something fun.
Okay.
This question here, I love to hear these stories.
Okay.
And wait, before we move on, when did you accept it? The fact that people weren't giving you reciprocity?
When did I accept it? I don't know exactly the moment that I accepted, but it was just a light bulb that went off. You know, it was a light bulb of acceptance. It's just like, okay, I don't have to give everything that's not been given back to me. And that's not a selfish act. That's just being smart. You know what I mean? Because you can give so much of yourself and nobody give anything back. And now that you empty, everybody like, all right, bye, we use that up. You know what I mean? It's just like when you finished a soda bottle, would you just gonna keep the bottle? Nah, you're done with it. You know, so with that being said, I'm not gonna be anybody's soda bottle.
Wale said in one of his songs, he's talked about a man's woman. He said, the bottle's yours, but the soda is mine. And a lot of people don't listen to them lyrics. I'll say, oh, that's harsh.
But I mean, you just got the shell, but I got the soul.
I got the substance.
Wow, that's deep, bro.
If soda is nutrients.
It's not, but hey, we know
it
quenches your thirst for that moment.
Exactly. Shout out to Wale. So now, this question here is so much fun for me. It's part of the show. I like to really have a good time.
Okay.
Did you ever get a sex talk? Who or what gave you sex education?
Man, real life gave me sex education. I never was sat down and told, you know, hey, I'm gonna tell you this. HBO and Cinemax had a whole lot to do with.
Are we talking about real sex? Take 3?
Brother, like, hey, that's what it was, man. That's what it was.
Talk to me. Why do you think parents from our generation ran away from the scientific, most prolific, one of the most enjoyable emotions ever? Why do we not see? Let me take it deep. The reason why I think we should have this conversation candidly and open is because in the US, the amount of people who end up being on child support because of decisions they didn't make, like just that last barrier of conversation that might block you. You might reach for that condom. You might look at her differently and say, she's not in my purpose. You might look at it differently. But if we just go around saying, hey, let me just go ahead because of peer pressure and all my homeboys is telling me, did you jump off the porch yet? Did you put the hot dog in that bun? Like the crazy thing, you start learning from people that know nothing. Just like the J. Cole song, like he thought she was a pro, but she ain't never did this before.
Exactly.
So it's like, there's no conversation. Why do you think we don't have this conversation?
I don't know. I think it's fear, man. I think it's fear. I think it's, but it's fear, uncomfortability. You know what I mean? It's so many different things. I mean, it's a person that wasn't taught teaching. You know what I mean? Like I used to tell my mother all the time, it's like, hey, why you didn't tell me about stocks and stuff growing up? She was like, I didn't know about stocks and stuff when you were growing up. So it's like, I couldn't blame her for what she didn't know. So with that being said, I always told myself, I'm going to be so 100 with my daughter. Ooh. Like, look, the little nigga going to tell you this, and he going to tell you this. And then he going to say, just let me put the tip in. And the moment you hear it, The moment you hear it, you're gonna think of your father. Be like, my daddy said you was gonna say this, man. Get off of me, you know. And it's going. I'd rather give her the game than let her go out there and let the world teach her. You know, that's how I look at it. I'm not gonna let some random person in a college dorm room coerce my daughter over some spin the bottle. Like, you're just not gonna do that. Right. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you game. I'm gonna let you know what it feels like to be drunk already, like, you know, influence. I need you to know what that feels like, so you know what you can control and what you can't control. So, like, that's how I'm on pay.
18-year-olds going to college think they're gonna be able to handle a senior's influence.
They can't, man.
It doesn't. You're not gonna make it. So you got to come more prepared. Yeah. That's new under the sun. Yeah. The sex conversation. Yeah. We can look at it as a scientific talk. Yeah. Or you can look at it as a really emotional talk. But you really need to understand that it's gonna get done, and it's your parent. As a parent, you're never gonna be around. Yeah, you're never gonna be around.
Very true. Very true.
Should there be a basic training program amongst men? Level of education is given out outside of the church, outside of the Boys and Girls Club, outside of school, where we talk financial literacy, how to change a tire, how to change a tie. Talking to the elderly with intent, general wealth building, communications. Do you ever think we can actually tribe build towards these things? If I was your neighbor, and you knew everything you knew about industry, film, music, and acting, and I knew things about stocks, could we bring our kids together to do like a flea market weekly or a flea market or something 100%. Where they're setting up orange stands and learning enterprise, fake money or not? Do you think we can ever get there in any country where we're actually tribal building, especially in the U.S.?
Right. Well, I really have to speak towards the U.S. because that's where I was born and raised. But that's so important, and I'm going to tell you why. It doesn't matter if you can try to change the world, you know? Tupac used to always say, I may not change the world, but I'm gonna spark the mind that will change the world. So with that being said, like, those little communities that you do, it may be 5 people in that community. It may be 5 kids that you're teaching. You have no idea how far that's gonna go. Then we got the internet. You can live it. Now it's going to go even further. Right. So the whole thing is having those individuals that are actually going to start these events, these classes, these constructed, curated events that teach our young brothers, sisters of any color, nationality, how to progress in life and get the tools that they don't teach you in school, because school only teaches you how to be an employee.
Absolutely.
They're not teaching you how to be a boss. This is why you don't have certain classes. They don't want you to know how to handle money. Why? Because they want you to be an employee and somebody handles it for you. That's an accountant's job. No, it's not. I need to know what the accountant's doing. Because guess what? If they all work for you. They all work for me. And if he runs amok with my money, guess what? I'm going to jail too, because embezzlement, he did all of that. You know what I mean? It's still under me. So you got to know what's going on. Like, you know, and taking another line from a rapper, you got lawyers watching lawyers, so you don't go broke. You know?
Well, so you got to say that's Notorious B.I.G.
That's Notorious B.I.G.
Life After Death album. You know? Let's get it.
Track 6. You know?
Hey, track 10. You know? Too short.
There it is. There it is. Exactly.
I'm a hip hop enthusiast. You know. I love music. I think what you said is very important. The thing is about it is we're so focused on everybody else's advances. Yeah. And let's be honest, there are some vigilantes against us to make sure that we don't grow the mushroom like we need to.
Of course.
But it doesn't mean that 5 families can't get together to make sure that those 5 families sit on the top of whatever it is. It's levels to it, of course, but I believe living comfortably or having legacy is still something that we can all reach.
Absolutely.
So I encourage each other, even if I don't even think you have to live in the same place, play with the internet.
Absolutely.
You can have Zoom calls, you can have these calls that make sure everybody's fulfilling these attributes that other people were able to achieve.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're doing today. We're dropping gems. Someone out there, you're saving their life right now. They're in the same place. They might be even homeless, or they might be sitting in the SLS next door. They still can relate to your story. Absolutely, from the inner room, from the bottom to the top.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing. But now we're going to get to the part of the show where so be a little pressure on you this show.
Talk to me, man.
Because we're live. We got an audience.
Let's go.
I want to talk to you about the top 3 things you want in a woman. Now, there's something I feel most men leave out. And that's not a bad thing, because this is totally subjective to you. This is what you need. But I'm going to tell you the thing I'm thinking about that I think all men should always add to the fold.
Talk to me.
Top 3 things. You tell me first, and I'll let you know.
Well, the top thing that I need.
Subjective to you, so it's never a wrong answer.
Me. Top to me, I need to be supported in my ventures, in my crazy ideas, you know, because my ideas to other people may sound insane, you know, but in the words of my brother Diddy, if your dreams ain't scaring you, they not big enough, you know. Ooh. So I need a woman that's going to support my crazy fucking visions, you know. I also need a woman that I can also learn from. I'm a big advocate on having a partner that you can trust their opinion. Because if your partner is telling you something frivolous and they don't know anything, they don't read, it's just like, baby, what you think about it? Oh, I don't know, do the balloons. It's just like, okay, babe, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like, okay, you didn't marry her for her brains, you know? Right. But I have to have a woman with brains and intellect and actually can give me, you know, it's like anybody can have a wife. Not everybody can have a partner. You know what I mean? And so I lean more towards the partner. You may be married, she may be called your wife, but in my household, that's my partner. Like, what you think? I need to be able to bounce ideas off of you. And then lastly, just all the love when I'm down. You know, it's easy to love me when I am up and everything's popping, but what about when I'm depressed? What about when I got a $20 million budget and I'm in control and things are going wrong and production is happening and you know, this fell and we lost this location and you know, I'm losing this actor. Like, I mean, that is stressful. Like, people don't understand how stressful producing is. And so during that time, she would get the brunt of my frustration. She would get the brunt of my anger. She would get the short temper. She would get all of that because I wasn't able to release it on set. You have to reset. You know, I have to reset and go back. And I need somebody that's going to be understanding when I'm in that zone versus when everything is just lackadaisical and shopping and hanging out. I need that full circle, you know, and that's gonna make me complete because I'm gonna think about that. When everything is good, it's like, whoa, she was there doing this. Man, I did this to her. Man, I yelled when I shouldn't. You know what I mean? It's like, those are the moments that you really appreciate your woman. So, you know, I'm thankful.
Those are great answers. And you gave me one of the answers I wanted. Intelligent, smart. I think you said it the second time around. I think that's one of the most important things. It don't have to be in your top 3, but I suggest it be in your top 10. Because you want a woman to know how to be emotionally intelligent, when to be a wife and when not to be. And that's important. That's what I like to share on the show. That's something.
Elaborate on that. When to be a wife and when not to be.
Well, in the words of Marcus Divine, who came on the show, because I learned from so many men on the show. He said one day he came home and his wife looked at him and she knew to be his friend and not the woman that said, did you take the trash out today? Did you do this today? She knew to sit him down and let him sit on TV and be like, hey, what's going on with you? Chilling? Talk to me like my friend and listen to me. Right now, I am your husband, but I don't need that role. I need you to take the role of supporting friend, supporting actor instead of lead role or whatever it is you want the terminologies. So when we're talking about, you got to know when a person's being your friend or being your wife, being your lover or being your confidant. Like these hats we all need to wear. Absolutely. So I ask you this, how much are you trying to understand communication? Are you familiar with the 5 love languages?
I am familiar with the 5 love languages.
Okay,
100%. Run them down for the people, man. I may not know.
Words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch.
Yes.
Now, I was on record saying most men like physical touch. I've been wrong. I've talked to the men. So I would like to know what one of your love languages are.
I would have to say words of affirmation. That's one. Physical touch is in there, but sometimes I'm moody and I don't like to be just leave me alone. Leave me alone for 2 seconds. And then sometimes with women, that could be misconstrued as rejection, but it's not. You know, it's just a moment to where it's like a guy's just like, all right, just give me a moment, you know? But give me, run them down.
So words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, receiving gifts, and physical touch.
I like a gift from time to time. You know,
so you like, look, you know, you're the boss.
Get a gift, you know. But you know, it's weird. You know, it's weird. I may say that subconsciously, but actually, I'm weird when I get gifts. I don't receive them where I'm like, nah, you don't gotta, you know what I mean?
Survive.
Don't throw me a birthday party.
Come on now. See,
you know
what you got to do is take the compliment.
Yeah.
What I had to learn, hey man, you doing your thing.
I'm just trying to, I'm the
like,
same way,
like this
bro.
new thing, everybody's like, don't be humble. I get it. So just take your credit for what it is.
Right.
You worked this hard. You worked your butt up to be here.
I did.
Jay-Z.
Yeah.
You worked this hard not to stay the same.
Not to stay the same.
So accept it.
Accept it.
People see you for it because, let's keep it real, Audible. Many times when people start stuff, it's the closest people next to you that do not care. Yeah. They want you to be the person they already picks in your mind.
Absolutely.
You are in this box. You are Reggie from 9th grade that fell and tripped that time and hit his knee on the concrete. You'll never be more than that.
Yeah.
You could be president of the United States. They still would be like, man, that's my man. That's my man. They'd be happy for you. But the level of that will never take its course. Now, reciprocity. Most people fail to realize when they're receiving their love language, sometimes they misconstrue it as what they should give out. How important are you saying, I'm going to find what my wife's love language is and give her that? Because I don't know what it is.
Right.
But let's say her love language was completely different from yours. Let's say yours was acts of service and hers was quality time.
Right.
But you're giving her acts of service.
Quality time.
Okay. but you're giving her acts of service.
Right.
She will accept it in the beginning as something, but sooner or later, I think people fail to realize that a communication falls short because 100%. You're not giving them what you want.
100%.
How much are you trying to focus on what she needs, and at the same time letting her know if it's two different love languages?
Right. Well, I mean, I'll tell you that in any relationship, that's hard, man. It's hard, bro. Especially when you're as busy as I am, and when one of her main love languages is quality time, and I don't have it. Think about it. I'm in the UAE, right? I'm producing a movie in the States right now. So I'm on 2 different time zones. So if I got to wake up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning and have a Zoom call and be locations and talk to I got to do that. Then I got to wake up in the morning and function on UAE time. At the same time, I have to put in some time, at least an hour or 2 for her. And then by the time I give her an hour or 2, I'm falling asleep. And she's just like, really? You know what I'm saying? Really? Right, I get to tire you, and so it's difficult because you see your spouse, the person that you love the most, that you want to spend the most time with, but then you have to kick in those words of affirmation to where it's just like, babe, I'm doing this for you. Babe, I'm gonna work hard for 2 months and then we off for 10 months. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like, this supports this lifestyle. It supports, you know what I mean? So you constantly kind of, how I've learned to deal with that is inclusion. When you include them on what's going on, they understand it better. I had to break down what it takes to produce a film, and she sat back like, whoa. Because she didn't know how many different moving parts it was. She thought, we just point a camera and boom, it took. I'm like, babe, everything from the page to the actual screen, I do. And she had no idea what a producer actually does. So when you actually take time to actually explain to them certain things, it makes it a whole lot better. It's the unknown that makes things scary.
But that also comes with the testament of the woman you have. A lot of men do a lot of work that the woman has no idea the stresses they really go through. And that shows that level of emotional intelligence where if you're a golfer, but she doesn't know anything about golf, but now she does.
Right.
That is her trying to really be a part of it. She didn't never intern to learn that game. But since this is the man I've chosen to incubate with, because I believe women are incubators, they take whatever you give them and multiply it. And that's what I believe what it's all about. We work this hard, we talk about leaving a legacy, but I ask you this, do you have a will? Now, you have a will. Talk to me why you think that is also taboo in our community, why we don't take the time out to do something that probably nowadays with technology take you 72 hours.
72 hours. Well, a lot of things. In the Black community, American Black community, we literally we typically pass down bills and not, estates and everything that our Caucasian counterparts have had the opportunity to pass down their kids. So we passing out, okay, we got to pay off mama's this, we got to pay off mama's this, we got to pay the funeral. We don't have those situations set in place. And so I refuse, as a part of my legacy, to put my child or my loved ones in a position of stress because I passed away, you know? And so having a will is just the responsible aspect of a man becoming a man. You know, you have responsibilities, you have a kid, you have a wife, you know, have more kids. It's like you have to set them up in a way to where everyone knows what's going on. And also it stops the fight. A lot of families fight when someone passes away. I'm taking this, you take, like, no, it's all laid out in the will, what I want, you know? And so that's how it has to be set out for me.
You just gave affirmation. I hope everybody's paying attention. I refuse, and put whatever you want to put after that. I refuse is a great affirmation. Friend to the show, Cameron Wesley, spoke about our cultural counterparts taking out insurance on their parents and their grandparents, building wealth in that way. We're talking about $100 a month. That's your siblings, if you have them, or your cousins, if you have them.
Nipsey Hussle spoke about that, life insurance policies. People don't know that.
You take it out and they're getting $500,000, $300,000. Someone passed away, taking care of the bills, and also disseminating the money to where it goes. If you're listening out there, it's okay to take an insurance policy out on your family. It's not a death sentence. Death is certain, right? But let's be prepared for it. Let's be prepared. Get a will. Don't leave a bill.
Like, look at you coining phrases. Where's the commercial?
Get a will. Don't leave a bill.
I love it.
Let me put you back in the husband chair. You kind of already answered this question, but I want to ask it just to see. Once again, it's subjective towards you. Here we go. As a husband, and you already answered it, but I want to hear your definition after the question. As a husband, would you rather have a great woman or a great wife?
Define.
You have to define it. Subjective towards you.
Subjective towards me. I would rather have a great woman.
Explain.
I would rather have a great woman. Because a woman, regardless of what her title is to you,
absolutely,
is still going to be a foundation and an anchor if she's the right woman. And I hope that everyone has the intelligence to choose the right woman. You know, I'm 41, you know, and made the decision to get married. You know, there's been a lot of people that thought they should have been the one, but in my mind, you checking off boxes, and it's just like, you know what I mean? But then when you meet that person that makes you a better person and helps you grow, like that's another level, that's another step. So a great woman is going to be, I mean, essentially everything to you.
Incubation.
Incubation, you know what I mean? They're literally going to help birth every idea, nourish every, you know, thing that you have going on inside of you to create. And
the
so
reason.
it's the reason, you know. So it's a important part for them, you know, not to be the stress level, but the reliever. In a lot of situations, you know, women take the burden of a lot, you know, so. And
that's the thing, you know, the narrative of life is changing, and what that information we just gave out is. I once heard women say they're tired of taking on our burdens. I'm not sure, I never speak for women, but one thing I do know is that they incubate. So they take on things all the time and multiply to give it back more fruitful. No matter if you give them hell, they're gonna give you hell times 10. You give them heaven, they're gonna give you back times 10. So I am a proponent of that. That's one thing the universal laws always show me. That's how we all got here, through incubation, through manifestation, through this connection that you grew inside of you to bring us here. So that's the only thing I can ever say about women. For men, I speak for men for a lot of things, but I will say that for women. But validation from your partner, it's like you win a championship when you meet the right woman. But Mr. Elijah Long, I ask you today, do you defend the title? Are you persistently being your best self to be the guy she once saw, and even a better version? Are you defending the title?
I mean, I slack sometimes, you know. I slack sometimes, you know.
He said it with confidence. I thought you were gonna say
but I think what's the most amazing thing with a man, a husband, whatever you are gonna be to a woman, is the ability to say I'm sorry and to know when you're messing up.
Right.
You know, it's a lot of people that don't. I'm perfect all the time. You know, that's a fucking lie. You know, so it's just like, I mean, I fail every day, but I apologize every day. You know, I piss off. I
grow
do
every
all
day.
kind of stuff. You grow every day.
Don't make the same mistakes.
So it's like, yeah. So that's the main thing I always tell my wife. I have no problem having this 3-hour long conversation. I just don't want to have the same 3-hour long conversation tomorrow, because we should be over this. You know what I mean? So
I'm on the record as saying that communication between two people that come together, two partners, it's like muscle memory.
Yeah.
You've been living this same way your whole life, and this is the way you've done things. I liken it to when I met my wife and we started to cook for each other. In my household, since I grew up in the hood with a bunch of people, whoever cooked didn't have to wash dishes. In her household, she grew up, you clean the dishes while you cook. So I used to leave her dishes like, I just cooked you dinner. I don't have to. She was like, no, why didn't you just wash them as you went along? So one of us had to concede. So I conceded. And now I wash dishes while I cook. And it's like, wow, the kitchen's clean and the food is ready.
And the food is ready. Yeah.
So we had to learn. But it took me a while to get that muscle memory down. And that one thing I want to encourage people in relationships, if you tell somebody you don't like something, remember how many years you done met them. They've been doing this. For
X
15,
amount of years.
20 years.
What I tell people all the time, like in a relationship, you literally gotta be a rubber band, man. You gotta be able to stretch and pull and come back any other way, you know, because like you said, it's two totally different people coming from it. Me and my wife come from two totally different places, you know, two totally different cultures. She speaks 4 languages, you know, so with that, it's like she's coming from a different mentality. So coming into the same household and coexisting, like that's gonna take work. It's gonna be some clashes, but you just iron it out, you know. And it's gonna be the give and take. You know, a lot of people don't want to do the give and take. It's like, look, this is the way I do it. That's how it's gonna happen. And you can't run a house. It's not a dictatorship. It's a marriage. You know, it's a relationship.
I'm gonna ask you this. This is an audible question. Now that you getting some audible, audible question.
We got to get you a button, bro.
Yeah. The fun thing for me is when my wife gets upset, it makes me smile because I see how angry she is. Right? Right. Let's be honest. Our wives get upset.
My wife does that too, and I'll be laughing. So, why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
Right. Do you laugh even when she talks to you in the other 4 languages angry that she spells out?
Absolutely. That happens all the time.
It just makes me smile. Like, you really upset right now.
Like, you mad, man. you mad. You know?
Why are you laughing? It's kind of attractive. It's like, I can't believe you're jumping up the cliff for me. This is awesome.
Yeah. But they don't realize that though. Yeah. They don't realize that we're looking at it like, wow, you're that mad over me. Yeah. Because there's only 2 things that get me that mad. Fuck with my money or fuck with my family. Yeah. You'll get me that mad. Yeah. But it's like right now with this little ass argument, you're that mad. Yeah. It's like that speaks volumes of how they feel about it. They give you that look. You know what I'm saying? That's why they always say when a woman is just super calm, it's like that's when dudes get nervous. Like, oh shit, she either gone or I'm gonna wake up with my arm in the
rubber, just make sure the rubber band doesn't snap.
Exactly.
Literally,
you know. So
they incubate too. They took you in. Yeah. So that's why they mad at you a little bit more.
Yeah, man. That's facts.
It took a lot of stuff in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I came up with something called operating at 100%.
Okay.
And what I did was I took 5 categories. Okay. 20% each.
Okay.
We're talking about purpose, health, communication, knowledge, and money. So, it's purpose, health, confidence, money, and knowledge. Sorry. Okay. Purpose, health, confidence, money, and knowledge. 20% each, adding up to 100% daily. Okay. I give myself an average every 6 or 7 days to see how much I've been operating at 100% for the week.
That's a bar, bro.
Right? That's so it's called operating 100%.
Wait. For the people and for me.
Yes, absolutely.
Give me that one more time. So health.
It's purpose, health, confidence, money, and knowledge. And for a bonus, you can add consistency.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So you can curve it. If you're a person who wakes up in their purpose every day and you're automatically getting 20, if you put your foot on the ground, then you need to curve it to something that is going to challenge you. For me, I curve 40% in health because health considers meditation, food, working out.
Absolutely.
If I'm not eating right and working out, I can't get 40%.
Okay.
Automatically, the highest I can get is 60. Now, when I look back and do the documentation of my life, I realize, man, how am I gonna get somewhere with a D+ average? So operating at 100%, we talking about purpose. You living in your purpose, doing what you need to do. Health, meditating, eating right, working out. Confidence, you did it without any fear or intimidation. All right. Knowledge is you learned a little something today. Money, you invested, made some money, or spent some money today.
Crypto.
Right. It's a whole other conversation. Get out there and get some crypto. So out of 100%, purpose, health, confidence, money, and knowledge.
Yeah.
And within the last 24 hours, how much of 100% have you been operating at?
I'm probably at about 80.
Now, where are you lacking?
I mean, it is various days of various things. When I'm super focused work-wise, the gym may lack. But if the gym lacks, I make sure I don't eat like shit that day.
Right.
So it's like I try to give it some kind of balance. My wife, on the other hand, will just put a cheeseburger down and just won't care. Yeah. But on my hand, I'm like, okay, cool. That gets me lethargic. Now I'm sleepy the rest of the day, so I kind of got to balance that up. But I would say I'm at about 80. About 80%.
80% is good. I think, to go back to that, when you eat right and you're feeling good, and do you get that cheeseburger or those wings, you be like, man, why did I even eat that? Slowing me down. It's making the train move slow.
Man. Absolutely. Man. But people you see how they switched and call it comfort food. That ain't comfort. That's sit your fat ass down in the corner kind of food. You know what I'm saying? That's what that is, man.
Absolutely. I want to say this.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, sir. You are now part of the Silhouette Boys Club. It is people like you who move in the shadows to help people like me shine. Now, before you go, we'd love to get referrals for the show. Is there anyone out there you would love to come on this show, either through Zoom or in person, that you would love to come on SOULutions for Men?
Man, I'm gonna name 3.
Get to me.
So, Ryan Lamar.
Ryan Lamar.
All right, born and raised in Chicago as well.
Shout out.
Yes, there you go. He's
actually country boys nothing.
Rest in peace, Bernie Mac. Ryan Lamar, definitely, he is the director of North of the 10. And so he's actually shooting right now in Chicago. And the next person that I'm going to say is Don Benjamin. Don Benjamin is a model that it has transformed himself into an actor, and this is his first debut. And so I'm super, super proud of Don, and I would love to have Don on the show. And then one of our other cast members, I'll kind of toss that to you later to see who's available, but I would love for 3 people from the North of the 10 crew to be a part of it as well.
Okay, Ryan Lamar and Don Benjamin, a cast member. Before you go, we love to get information about what you're doing. You spoke of North of the 10.
Yes.
If you're allowed to speak on that now, I would love to hear that. And also some of your social media handles and information where we can reach you.
So, you can reach me at Elijah Long Official on Instagram, on Twitter. It is I don't even know my Twitter handle because who uses Twitter? But when I upload from my Instagram, it goes to my Twitter. So I'll give you that handle later because I don't handle some of my social media. So that's just how you can reach me. What was the next question you asked me?
North of the 10.
North of the 10. All right. So North of the 10 is the project I'm currently producing. North of the 10 is starring Don Benjamin. It's starring Terrence J. It's starring Daystorm. It's starring What's Good. It's starring Adam W. And I'm giving you Instagram handles because that's how people know them. North of the 10 is a period piece that is set in like the 2005 era before the explosion of the social media influencers. So what we decided to do was, I partnered with Ryan Lamar at Red Gorilla. What we decided to do was take the actual influencers, the King Batches, the Dons, and actually put them in their own movie. All right. And show how they became social media influencers in real time. And the story culminates in the UAE at some very epic locations. So that's what I can say.
I can't wait to see it. I thank you for my advanced ticket screening in advance.
Absolutely. Say no more. Say no more. Say no more.
It's on camera.
Say no more.
You see, I like the way I did that, right?
It's done. It's done.
I want to tell you thank you for being so hospitable, having us in your home. I want to give a shout out to Tori and Mike, SOULutions for Men, first on live recording here, and everyone listening. I just want to tell you thank you for being such a good sport.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you for having me, man.
Absolutely.
Blessings, man. Blessings to you and everything you're doing.
Thank you. For those listening, you can reach me at soulutionsformen@gmail.com to be a guest on the show, or any platform, Facebook, Twitter, Clubhouse, or in the street if you see me. Before we go, we love to give a quote from Dr. Miles Monroe. True success is not measured by how much you have done or accomplished. It's not compared to what others have done or accomplished. True success is what you have done compared to what you could have done. In other words, living to the maximum is competing with yourself. It's living up to your own standards and capabilities. Success is satisfying your own personal passion and personal pursuit of purpose through personal excellence. Question of the day. Question of your life. Are you maximizing your life? Ladies and gentlemen, this has been SOULutions for Men, Mr. Elijah Long. We love y'all.
Thank you, man.
Peace, y'all.
Peace. Blessings. My man. Appreciate you, bro. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great interview, gentlemen. I appreciate y'all, man.